Welcome back. Today we are going to replace the front and rear pads on a YZ250F. As you can see from the previous clip, I took this thing for its first ride and performed perfectly. A lot of power, a lot of torque. Pretty cool bike to ride. The only thing is, it didn't stop worth a crap. Front brakes are spongy. I bled them. Didn't seem to matter. The pads are just that far gone. And the rears, I don't know if you can see, but there is no meat left on those pads at all. It looks almost like metal. It's getting pretty close to being the metal on metal. So we are going to replace them, and I'm going to record it. So if anyone wants to know how to do it, they can do it themselves. Let's go to the bench and take a look at the pads. These are the pads. Let's pull them out. And these are the rear pads. You can see the difference in how much meat is supposed to be on there. And the front pads. These are the fronts. Not quite as much meat, but I'm sure the ones on the bike are not this good. So these here, I'll show you guys the numbers. These are the numbers for the front and rear pads. These numbers probably aren't going to do any good to anybody. I ordered these on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure these are Chinese knockoffs. But they'll be perfectly fine for this bike. If you're going to race this bike competitively, you would probably want to go with Yamaha pads or a high-end aftermarket pad. These pads were dirt cheap. They were probably maybe 13 or 14 bucks for the set. And they'll be perfectly fine for this bike. I mean, let's face it, this bike is 15 years old and is never going to see a racetrack again. It's basically just going to be for trail riding and pleasure riding, and these pads will be perfectly fine for that. So let's go and throw them on the bike. Well, that looks pretty dry, and I'm sure that needs some type of a slide lubricant on there. I'm going to take this off here. You don't have to in order to remove the pads. All you have to do is just take this pin out and you can pull the pads out. But I want to grease everything. I just want to make sure everything is working right. So I'm going to take this pin out. And I want to remove the caliper. Again, you don't have to, but I'm going to. And I can show you, let me show you how to remove it. Just show you how to get the pads out of here. It's pretty cool how they did this. This is just a dust cap. That's all it is. You can see there. And now there's an Allen wrench in there that you have to go in and get. And this is pretty dry too. And we pull that out. You can see it's got wear on it, where it's been hitting the disc. We'll clean that up. Now, if you want to get the pads out, basically all you have to do is put a screwdriver in here like this. Give it a little bit of a turn to try to give yourself a little bit more. Try to get that caliper to go inside a little bit, which will force it back in a minute. And then you should just be able to pull these right out. think that the caliper's just hung up just a tiny bit. Let's try to spread it a little bit more. There we go. And the pads just come right out. And you can see there that we have metal on metal. That's how bad these pads are. This is what it's supposed to look like. Oh, let me get the right one. This is what it's supposed to look like. So, these brakes were no good. Now let's see if we can get the other one to slide out. And that one was metal on metal too. So she wasn't stopping very good, and the disc should probably be replaced, but I'm not going to replace it. Alright, let's continue to take this off. And this is an Allen wrench up under here. And I'm going to take this off. And I'm taking this off because I want to grease everything once, like I said, with brake grease. And you can see the crud on that. I mean, that's not going to slide very well. So we'll clean all that up and hopefully she'll work good. We'll continue to take this nut out. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to push this back down inside, and I think I'm going to crack the bleeder for that because I don't know how much fluid is actually inside the master cylinder. The lid's on it. I don't want to make a mess. So what I'm going to do is I am going to crack the bleeder and then push this back in with the clamp. All right, let's crack the bleeder. All right. And I'm going to put this little bit of a line on here just because I don't want this stuff going all over. And I'm going to use a little cup with a rag in it. Again, so this doesn't go all over the garage. I'm going to open the bleeder up, which I already cracked. And I'm going to open it up to the point where I know it's open. There we go. C-clamp, which I'm going to put in here. And I'm just going to slowly screw this in until the piston bottoms out. And you can see the brake fluid is going down the line. Doesn't seem like it's going in very easy. I'm just hoping that because this caliper was extended like that for as long as it was, that it's not corroded and I will be able to use it, but we'll see. It is going in ever so slowly. All right, that's seated and it isn't going anymore, that's for sure. I'll take the C-clamp off and we should be good to go. Alright, so now I'm going to tighten up this nut because I don't want any fluid to come out. Alright. Put this down. I just don't want this to leak everywhere. There we go. Alright. Get that out of the way. Now, cover that up for now. So let's take a look at this thing here. Now this pin should slide right out of here, which it does. And again, it's pretty corroded. and I'm gonna grease that after I clean it up. This is not stuff you have to do, but it definitely helps your bike. Your brakes slide better. And we got the same type of bushing in here. And I am going to fill that full of grease as well. First of all, I've got to hit these with the air compressor real quick. All right, we got it all off, blown out. It's ready to go back together. I'm gonna go hit these on the wire wheel because they're a little worse than Scotch-Brite pad's gonna work for us. You can see they look much better now. They're a little pitted, but at least they got all the corrosion off. So what we're gonna do now is standard brake caliper grease. This is the stuff you put on cars. There's no reason why you can't use them on dirt bikes as well. Most people probably wouldn't even go through this effort, but I am going to because I want to make sure that water and stuff don't get in there, dirt, and we continue to have good operating brakes here for whoever may purchase this bike when I'm done with it. That should work, and I'm just going to push it down inside the boot here. It should give us plenty of lubrication to move that guy around. Now I'm going to put this screw back in. I think I got it started. Yep, she started. All right, that one's in, it's tight. Let's do this one now. Same thing, grease. Get a little bit of that up. Smooth it all around. And what you can see immediately is how easy this moves back and forth now. And it was really tight before. It wasn't moving very well. And if you don't grease these slide pins, what's going to happen is your pads are going to wear unevenly. You're either going to, if it sticks to one side, whether it be the inside or the outside, that pad's going to wear faster than the other one. And you want them to wear evenly. That way you know your brakes are working properly. And again, these just slide right in. Slide right down into the hole. And I'm going to pull that over so it doesn't move. And this one here. All right. And we got this slide pin, which I want to hit on the wire wheel. All right, pin's all cleaned up. Hit on the wire wheel. This guy's gonna get some grease too. Smooth it all around. Make sure it's not dry. And push it in. We don't need to kill it. And put the dust cap back on. And one last time I want to tighten the bleeder to make sure I don't forget. That's tight. And we'll try the brake. And she feels good. All right, let's put the cover back on and this side's done. That's it. She's done. Pads are in. Looks good. Got a nice solid brake pedal now. We're not going to be grinding metal to metal. And the rear is handled. Let's get to the front. Okay, the front, same deal. Dust cap. Allen wrench. All right, I think I'm going to remove the caliper on this side as well because I want to inspect the slide pins just to make sure everything's all right. I want to check the caliper because it's a little oily up here and I want to make sure it's not leaking. Boy, those guys are on there, huh? All right, well, these pads don't look too bad, but they are really, really gritty. I don't know what is on them, but we need to clean all this up. And I honestly don't know whether this thing looks like it might be leaking. All right, same deal. We're gonna pop the bleeder, push the pistons back in. And hope for the best here. Hopefully they're not in that rough of shape. They look like they're gonna push in fairly easy. So let's see what we can do with that. Again, same deal. C-clamp. Not a lot of room to work here. Shouldn't take much to push these in. All right, that's one in. Move to the other side. Oh, I don't really want this leaking all over my floor. Of course, you don't always get what you want. All right, let's get this back in there. Well, let me shut you off, clean this mess up, and I'll get right back. All right, let's try this again. This is not easy to do with two hands. All right, let's see if I can hold it in the right spot here. Okay. All right, I made a mess here. Let me shut that bleeder. Tighten up a little. Don't worry about it. Let's pop this back on. All right, that's on there. Now let's slide the pads in, and if you look, those pads there were pretty worn down as well, but they have been replaced because they still got good paint on them. But we'll toss those in the trash. Now we'll slide these in. Here's the first one. Second one. Now I'm going to put a little bit of grease on this. This one here wasn't that corroded, so should be in good shape with that. Pop that in. Screw the pin back in. It's tight. Dust cap. And it's pretty cool that Yamaha makes these pads come out. Allows the pads to come out without removing the caliper. I guess if you were doing races and stuff, it'd be pretty handy to be able to place your pads relatively fast if you needed to. Alright, it's tight, and I think that's good. So the new pads are in on here. We'll take this around so we can get a better look at it. See that they're in there. They look good. Let's see what's going on up here. Now it's probably gonna take a few to get them to all right, I want to check the level. I'll be right back. All right, so that's how you do the brakes on a YZ250F. And, well, that's a clutch. And the brake feels good. I'm going to take it for a little ride right now just to make sure that the brakes work fine. But I think we're all set. For those of you that follow my channel, I did one more addition to this bike. I added a skid plate to it. I bought that off eBay. I think I paid like 60 bucks for it or something like that. It's a bit pricey, but it is what it is. I don't think it's safe to ride any type of a bike without a skid plate on the bottom, because you run the risk of taking a rock into your crankcase and causing all kinds of problems. And also, this has that oil reserve tank, and I didn't want to take a shot with a rock on that either. So it's all back together, looking good. I'm going to take it for a quick ride, and that should be it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, share, like, tell your friends, all that kind of thing. And I'll see you guys in my next video.